Hello and welcome to the first ever post-match reaction to a Super Rugby Farnay game, or Women's Super Rugby game, as the Blues took on the Chiefs in what was an exhibition game ahead of the men's game this evening in Eden Park. Look, it started out as with some cracking, free-flowing rugby. In the first 27 minutes, we had 30 points put on the board, with the score at 12-18 at that point. Look, the Chiefs got the early points, got themselves knocked over three for a penalty before the Blues were bashing away. Then under advantage, gave it out to their young fly half, who sort of tapped, gathered, and went over to score. Look, whilst they had advantage, it was the right kind of thing to do, to take that lead. And we had a score in the corner for the Chiefs. I must admit, I had to step out at that point, so I kind of missed that one. Look, after that, we had both teams sort of taking this seriously, and kind of going for threes initially, but the Blues missed the opportunity to tie things up with a penalty. And you've got to say, I think that probably made their choices of going for the corner more frequently during the game after that. After she missed that one, unfortunately for them. Reynolds then, who had a cracking game, Kendra Reynolds in the 6 jersey, was a real threat at the breakdown for that first half in particular. She scored off a line-out maul for the Chiefs to pull it out to 7-15 before the Blues came back. There were just too many penalties by the Chiefs, or too many penalty advantages, giving the Blues opportunity, and their youngest player on the park went over to score in the 13 jersey. That was Sylvia Brunt there, the Auckland player, going over to score, making things close. And then another penalty that bounced off the post and went over. You've got to say that the Chiefs kicker, Hazel Tubik, had a great night with the boot. Most of the tries were scored out wide, and I think she only missed one of her kicks at stick. So very good kicking there from Hazel with that one. Look, it was a cracking opening half hour with that play. Unfortunately, it kind of fell apart a bit after that. Look, these are two sides that have had 3 training sessions each. Most of these girls will have had maybe 1 or 2 club games. Now, the step up from club to Super Rugby is massive, as we kind of know. And so that's what we had here. You've got to remember here that we had basically Waikato, who were 6-0 last year in the Fire Palmer Cup, along with Counties and Bay of Plenty, with one person from the Nackies, come together to create this Chiefs team. When you take 3 strong sides like that in Waikato, Counties and Bay of Plenty, then you're going to end up with a very high level of play. None of these players are poor, but they just had no time together to gel any of those combinations. Remember, also last year, the Sevens players were playing in the Farah Palmer Cup. None of them were available for this one. The Blues, on the other hand, were put together from Auckland and Northland predominantly, with a couple of players from Harbour. Harbour, again, a weaker side, lost all their Farah Palmer Cup games last year. Unsurprising that the Blues would come up short in this one. But yeah, I say, and unsurprising then that really did sort of fall apart after, or become a bit more scrappy. Not fall apart, that's too harsh. Became scrappy after that first half hour. A lot of passes just going to grass, going behind the player, etc. Those combinations just weren't there in this one. And look, first game of the season, we see it from the men's Super Rugby teams. This is nothing against the actual players themselves, but just about the preparation that they had coming into this game. A lot of the pre-game chat was how it was just going to be basically against the Blues forwards against the Chiefs attacking talents across the field. And I don't think we really saw that today, because I don't think the Blues did not get that forward dominance that they were expecting, or that was sort of mentioned in the media. The Chiefs scrum was solid and had ascendancy at times during this game, and considering we had 2 line-out maul tries from the plus a line-out move for the tries from the Chiefs, shows that their forwards were more than competitive in this game, and perhaps got the other hand over some of the Blues ones. The Blues ones, look, they had experience in their pack, but out in the backs, it was a very young side, and with that, we saw a lot of mistakes in this one. I think we saw some mistakes in the referee as well. Look, I think there was lots of nerves in this one, particularly early on, and then I think whilst the Chiefs might have settled into it a bit more, I think both sides actually, as soon as they got tired, ended up dropping in the ball. A lot of young players here will have only played club rugby before, and up again, and would not have been used to this intensity. We saw that with a number of players cramping up during the second half as well, and a couple of injuries. So I hope those players are all okay after this game. Look, the Blues came out well after half time and did actually well in their restarts. They had a great restart. They actually claimed it themselves, and generally the restarts were pretty good on this one, but they weren't able to take it on for that next stage and score the points. Another missed penalty there meant they didn't get the first points of the half. The Chiefs came back and a line-out maul in the corner, bang, over they go. With Tubic kicking great from the corners, suddenly it was down to a 12-25 lead. And you've got to say, scoreboard pressure was then telling on the Blues as well. The Chiefs from there just had to really defend well and put a bit of pressure on the Blues, and that's all they needed to do. And they came up with a couple of late tries themselves. Les Elder, the ex-Black Ferns captain of Bay of Plenty and captain of the Chiefs, went over from a nice little move at the line out. They were all the coach was all celebrating, as I don't think they were expecting that line out move to come off. But hey, it worked. They sneaked down the blind side. Les Elder got the ball, popped her, and over she went. And then a tap and go at the end, on the 73rd minute, with really finished things off. Look, the Chiefs. Arkua went bashed over, but she had two players outside her who were unmarked as well. There was a three-person overlap pretty much that Chelsea Alley managed to get the ball to, and over they went. So, great score. They really had the Blues at sixes and sevens at that point. When the Blues did get into the Chiefs 22, and they had a couple of opportunities, they just couldn't. Their attacking structures meant they couldn't get over the line, and they were over the game line, and then eventually they would knock on or be forced to kick the ball away, which is what happened in this one. So, look, not surprising considering they've only had 3 sessions. The Blues only came together a week ago. The Chiefs had 3 sessions, but they've been spread out over the last sort of month and a half or so. Haven't been together since, or haven't had a session since last Sunday when they had their final session ahead of this game. So well done to the Chiefs. Showed that greater, the greater ability of the team, and came out with a very good win at 12-39. So that's hopefully this will grow up to be a full Super Rugby Wahane, and I'm sorry about the pronunciation, of Women's Super Rugby competition next year. I would love them to not just have the Blues Chiefs Wellington and Blues Chiefs Hurricanes and South Island team, but also to include Moana Pacifica as well. Look, Moana Pacifica got involved in the women's sevens down in Wellington recently, and it'd be great to see them also in this competition as well. Will that happen? Probably not. But hey, you've got to mention it and just give it a hope that it might happen. But thank you very much. Great to see the game. Thank you very much for following. I'll be back straight after the Blues versus the versus the Chiefs, or Blues versus the Baby Chiefs, as I'm calling it on social media. And let's see how that one goes. I'll be back, straight after the finals of that game as well. Do join me for that.